Let us see how they assess the Queen of the Earth. What's up, guys? Pencil here, and here we are to do a breakdown / analysis and review of Versus Battle Wiki's breakdown on Diane. Is it Diane or Diane? Like, I say Diane, but like, I think the Seven Deadly Smucks version says Diane. I think the official anime says Diane. I'm the outlier. Is it Diane? I know Diane's. Are their names spelled? Regardless, Diane or Diane. I will switch back and forth with complete autonomy. So I feel bad for everyone who's going to get too nettled over that. But yes, we're here to break down how Versus Battle Wiki breaks down Diane, the sin of envy, the queen of the giants, and the Earth Master of the seven deadly sins. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to, let me pop it open, have it on me, and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Diane is, I mean, ironically enough, I can't even say she's the weakest sin necessarily, but like, I don't think anyone's really thinking of her as a top tier. You know what I'm saying? Like, she definitely has feats in Cursed by Light, the ones that we're definitely got to talk about. She's definitely not fodder. Like, she's definitely stronger than the beginning of the series self. She has some scaling towards the end of the series, too, that's either fully autonomously when she's weakened or debuffed or anything like that. So, like, Diane's a kind of weird character, but she's not exactly fodder. But I'm very interested to see how Versus Battle Wiki interprets Diane, because even me, as a guy who tries to know Seven Deadly Sins like the back of his hand, I still make mistakes. Like, I still be forgetting that, oh yeah, Diane did damage the Supreme Deity in Cursed by Light. Oh yeah, Diane did go and is most likely responsible for damaging Chaos Kath after the Demon King fight when she was Omega Giga fatigued and Chaos Kath is a portion of Chaos and yada yada yada, and you go from there. Oh yeah, like, she just does have wild feats. So if I don't know that, I'm interested to see how Versus Battle Wiki interprets Diane, considering she's a character, unlike Meliodas, 1, just isn't that popular, 2, isn't used that often in Versus Battle discussions, yet 3 is actually really, really important for the scaling of the verse, at least in terms of simple, concrete feats. One of the things about Diane is that, like, she has some of the clearest and cleanest just creation, destruction, on-panel feats. Like, a big reason the early series is commonly easily believed to be mountain level, if not higher, is because of Diane. Her mother catastrophe. And like, everybody scales up from that. Almost everybody. Mostly everybody. Like, the only characters who don't directly scale up from that are like Gilthunder, because he is not a physical fighter, and he has very few physical feats that imply he scales to Diane, and he struggles with small Diane early season 2. So like, there's things that get in the way, but like, Mel scales above that and scales off of that, Bond scales above that and scales off of that, King scales above that and scales off of that. Like, all different characters kind of use Diane as a basis for the beginning of the series, though admittedly it starts going more towards the deities towards the end of the series, because Diane, I hate to say it, she kind of doesn't get a better feat than Mother Catastrophe, at least in my opinion when I'm trying to think about all that Diane has done. I mean, I guess legally speaking, she has that wave against the Albions, because the Albions are mountain size, and her Queen Empress makes the Albions look baby. So, like, there's Queen Empress, there's Mother Catastrophe, and Mother Creation is impressive, but remember, it's just big enough that it covers the Lady of the Lake, or the lake itself that the Lady of the Lake is contained in. So, I mean, it's, at least I don't consider it too crazy a creation feat, but once again, your boy's not a calc beast. So Diane, super duper important for the raw power of the verse, and honestly, a sleeper pick for a very fast character, especially if you consider Gother's attacks light, and, you know, light speed, sailing, and all this stuff like that. So I'm very interested to see how they scale Diane of the seven deadly sins. So let's not waste any more time, let's hop right into it. This is a nice image. Thank you to everyone who clarified for me. Those images from Meliodas, and presumably this image can sit, looks like the same art style, are not, in fact, not from Grand Cross, but from other mobile game promotions. And that's fantastic. I mean, I'll give credit, like, for cross promotions, especially in other mobile games, I'm impressed that they go out of the way to make such high quality art. Like, this is some good stuff. This looks better than the anime's model sheets. And I know, you know, like, it's a one-time model or a one-time drawing you're going to use for, like, every single thing likely related to that crossover, but still, alright, that ain't easy to do. Seven Deadly Sins doesn't have the most complicated art style, but it does have a particular look to it, so it is a very quality picture of Diane, just like all the pictures of Meliodas were very top quality. Where this is from, I don't know exactly, but just based on the art style, I'm presuming it's from one of the similar mobile games that the previous one was from. So let's see. Let's allow and analyze the summary of Diane. I'm gonna try to say Diane, because I'm pretty sure that's the correct way to say it. So I'm gonna say Diane. If I'm wrong, it be like that when it be like that, especially when it be like that. But Diane is the serpent sin of envy of the seven deadly sins. She was a prodigy of the giant clan, raised to be a warrior despite her misgivings about fighting. Eventually, she journeyed outside her home and encountered the Fairy King Harlequin, who she lived with and fell in love with. He was eventually forced to erase her memories of their time together, and she misplaced her love for him onto Meliodas, who she had developed a slight attraction for. And again, I reread early Seven Deadly Sins so little, because typically when I talk about Seven Deadly Sins, it's more so about, like, late game character stuff, and, like, realistically, at least in my opinion, the series doesn't get, like, insane on its scaling front at bare minimum to, like, the introduction of the commandments. Because they, like, by proxy introduce the archangels, which gets some more light stuff, light particles and stuff like that, and the bigger feats, and, you know, like, the commandments are where you start to get into those, like, arguably just based off Tarmi on how you scale to them, the planetary ranges. That's when you start to get there, and especially with the deities, with their whole world creation and stuff like that. That's where my brain immediately leaps to. So I always forget about the early parts of the series, but I'm a big fan of the Seven Deadly Sins Abridged from the Seven Deadly Smucks. And one more. There's another reason why, but I think that's the main one. That's the main thing I conflate with the start of season 1. So I think they just exaggerated that obsession. So that's why when it says slight, I'm like, huh? Let's see. After returning to the Giant Clan during a routine battle against Matrona, alongside Matrona, they were betrayed by the power-hungry Holy Knights, acting outside his orders, and Diane believed Matrona to have perished. She was charged with executing her, and was conscripted into the sins by Meliodas. Once again, I don't know why the Kingdom of Leonis is like such an insane, like, I know there's some reason, but, like, King, why listen to them? You could slaughter them all. Turn to hell real quick. Bon, he wanted pain, so I get why he did it. Mel, I know why he did it. Merlin, I know why she did it. Escanor, I know why he did it. So, like, it really is just like, Diane, go crazy, but I know why she did it. Let's see. Diane later regained all her memories and her love for King, and she deepened her connection with nature after experiencing Droll's past and learning his sacred dance. Accurate. Once again, I mean, we know in Four Nights, or by the time of Four Nights, she does have a bunch of kids. Like, her and King got to work. Like, I think, how many kids do they have? I forget the exact amount. I'm going to double check that real quick. I know they have, like, oogles and boogles of, like, they wasted zero time. Like, Mel and Elizabeth, despite Elizabeth having a human lifespan, one child. Elizabeth's going to perish in, like, a blink in terms of Mel's lifespan. Elaine and Bon, presumably, if he's just regular human dooming again, and he doesn't have any sort of extended lifespan, like, after effects from the Fountain of Youth, most likely, if I had to take a guess, he'll make it to 100. Pushing good. That's going to be a blink in terms of Elaine's lifespan. One child. But let me see. King, how many kids do King and Diane have? Not have. Multiple kids. But here's the thing. They have two children. That is crazy. That is crazy. And the reason that's crazy is because they're the ones, out of the couples that we got towards the end of the series, they're the ones with the most extended lifespans. Like, once again, if King lives half as long as Gerharde, that's at least 2,000 years. At least. Diane, giants, I don't think we've ever gotten an expiration date for giants. Unlike the goddesses, actually, no, I don't think we have one for goddesses either. I think they live up to a 10,000, but I may be misremembering that. But we know Ludishul's 6,000 years old, and he looks no worse for wear. We know high-ranking demons can live either forever, like Chandler and Cusack are also 6,000. And, you know, Mel and Zell also have their pseudo-immortality, most likely inherited from their father. But the average demon lives about 1,000, and humans obviously live their regular lifespans. But, like, every single one, because, you know, one of the Seven Deadly Sins relationships contains a human. Well, two of them do. One is a goddess-human hybrid, and one is a fairy, not Fairy King's Forest, Fountain of Eternal Youth kind of lingerer, so maybe there's different stuff with that. But essentially, it's crazy that King and Diane popped off, and I think Nakaba did that at spite. Because they're the only two whose kids we can't really have as a major part of the current narrative. Because the kids need to be part human. And clearly, King and Diane, I'm going back to Diane. King and Diane, a fairy and giant, they can't produce partial human children, so they can't be used in Camelot. Which is why I feel like Nakaba made have a whole bunch of kids off screen that we may never see. Or if we're gonna see them in like 5 cameos. They aren't really gonna be useful unless we get like a whole Invasion of Leonis arc, where we properly see an Invasion of Leonis. Not like the current one going on in the Four Knights manga right now. But sorry, I got so wrapped up on the description. Good job on the description. We have no context for Four Knights King and Diane, so thusly it makes sense why they aren't even mentioned here. We just know they're alive. And like Diane has a longer skirt now. That's it. Let's see. Tier 7B or higher with Gideon and heavy metal. Far higher with friends. That thing she only used like once. I don't know why she never used those again. Let's see. At least 7B. Low 6B with Droll's Dance. Higher with heavy metal. Far higher with Gideon. With my hands together got me thinking. Let's see. Key pre-training, post-training. Okay, yeah. So they don't really like account for Four Knights or in the series. Mainly because Diane doesn't have any transformations. Like Mel has like a bevy of transformations, and she has a bevy of states of power throughout the series. That's why he has like 50 different keys. But yeah, pre-training, post-training. There are definitely some weird things. Like just based on what base Diane does in Cursed by Light, she should be massively stronger than she was before. Like even being able to harm 50% Supreme Deity with no Droll's Dance is nutty. So technically there should be like a Cursed by Light tab, but I'm not expecting like the most in-depth from Versus Battle Wiki. Versus Battle Wiki is very good for hey, how strong is this character? Okay, and then you just keep moving from there. Honestly, I would love to use Relax recently made a canon power level tier list for the Super Smash Bros. Series, and I do like his video. I do really like his video, but I can tell, despite what he said in the video, with like, oh yeah, I kind of just went to Versus Battle Wiki and went crazy. I actually want to go to Versus Battle Wiki and went crazy, because some of the things he says in the video contradict some of the things that I know for a fact are on Versus Battle Wiki. Like, so it's a long, complicated story, so maybe I'll do that, but I don't want to just, I'm going to give that time, because that would take a minute, and that would actually be like a fun thing to maybe do a little comic alongside of. But let's see. Name, Diane. Origin, Nanatsu no Taizai. Gender, female. Age, 750. I think she's like 766 now. Classification, giant, serpent sin of envy? Oh lord. Serpent sin of envy, member of the Seven Deadly Sins. Powers and abilities. Superhuman physical characteristics, yep. Gains. Longevity, yep. Not pseudo-immortality, but like real long-lived. Magic, yep. Extrasensory perception, yep. She has sensory abilities. Large size, type 0, yeah. Expert hammer wielder, that is also true. Earth manipulation, exactly. Sand manipulation can create and control pits of quicksand, yep. Metal manipulation can turn her body into metal, and she can also just manipulate metal. I think. Actually, outside like diamond, do diamonds count as metal, or are they just fancy rocks? I'm not sure. If diamonds don't count as metal, I don't think we actually we've never seen her like bend steel. But then again, this is like medieval time. Like steel isn't, well no, they have steel swords, I think. So like, I don't know. We actually haven't seen her like directly just metal bend. Toph solos? No. Yeah, they actually do that. Toph versus Diane? It'd be a massacre, even if it was just beginning of series Diane. But still, it'd maybe funny to do. Give them equal stats. Metal manipulation can turn her body into metal. Statistic implication via Droll's Dance. Yep. Man, do I wish I had like a genuine understanding what that. Because here's the thing. I'm going to go into a little rant right now. But hey, welcome to That Guy with the Pencil, where everything's kind of little rants. Droll's Dance. Mad unquantifiable. The reason I don't like it is because if you go by power levels, Diane never gets stronger than Droll. Even though in-series evidence directly contradicts that. What do I mean? Post-training Diane, unlike King, who got a power level amp to like 4, I just recently reread that chapter because I was looking for the materials to make a thumbnail for this video. 41,600, I believe, is post-training King's power level after the flashback. But Diane, like, it's a boost to, I believe, 8,000. And then she's able to increase her strength a little bit over 5 times with Droll's Dance. Well, I think it's a bit more than that, because her base overall power level, I believe, is 8,000. And then I think it's stated in external materials that she can boost her strength up to 50,000. But I think that's specifically strength or magic or something of the sort. But the issue is, I still think that leaves her weaker than Droll is at all times. Pre-dancing. Like, Droll's just chilling at a smooth 54k or something like that. Like, hold on. In fact, so I have a nightmare with power levels, or combat classes, as they're properly referred to. I call them power levels because they're power levels. But I have a nightmare with them every single time I think about them. Because some of them make sense. Kind of. Sort of. Not really, though. But with that being the case, let me double check. So yeah, post-training, her power level is 8,800. And let me see. After performing Droll's dance, yeah, her total power level... Okay, I'm once again going straight by the wiki. I don't have the Carfax for this exactly. But let me see. Yeah, according to the Character Sin Guidebook, King and Diane, her power level can peak out at something over 50,000 plus. Nothing concrete. Yep, and is it just her magic or her strength? Or power? I keep scrolling accidentally to the bottom. Yep, strength. So her strength can cap out at 50,000. We don't know if that correlates directly to her magic or everything or overall power level, but 50,000 plus. Sounds good, right? Guess how strong Droll is at all times, at base, according to the power level system. Not Stole. Not Stole. No, not Stole. Please. Please give me Droll. Autocorrect. Don't fight me on this. I'm begging you. Save the Soul Society. Autocorrect. There we go. Droll. So, of course, you may be able to argue, well, maybe that's because of the commandment amp, but I don't know. The commandment amps don't seem to be a thing that are taken into account for power levels, because I think the power levels were all given to us before the commandment amps were a thing in Nakaba's head. But Droll's base power level, no dancing, no nothing, or at least according to the wiki and according to the power level that I remember and reading the scan for where we got the number from, it's 54,000 flat. 54,000. So Diane may go up to 50,000 plus. That means she's still weaker than Droll, who at least has a solid 54k. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that somehow, in spite of her ability to Droll's dance up enough, that her rocks can, move around the Demon King, damage the 50% Supreme Deity, all that, she's somehow still weaker than just regular base old Droll, who can still Droll's dance, by the way. How? Because... I hate to say it, combat classes just don't make sense 9 out of 10 times. Sometimes they do. There's some combat classes that work, and there are some excuses in narrative why combat classes don't work. Because I remember, especially when Chandler and Cusack's power levels first dropped, I wasn't really an active part of the community at the time, but I still remember being on all the forums and seeing it. How is Prime Meliodas so strong in comparison to Chandler and Cusack when he has a power level of 142,000, but Chandler and Cusack have a power level of 168,000 and 173,000 respectively? But, Nakaba... he gave us that 142,000 power level, but then immediately built in a narrative excuse of, hey, don't worry, there's a reason this still makes sense, because Mel got stronger. That's immediately instated after that fight with Escanor, that Mel, after fighting him, is starting to return, if not surpass, his, original strength from 3,000 years ago. So, he's returning back to his prime self. The 142,000 power level for Mel, a lot of people just use it as the basis all mode power level for post-resurrection Mel. It's only for that moment. He's consistently growing stronger back to his original peak. And it's a massive increase, too. He has to get at least... 168,000 plus 178,000, 300,000, what is it? 78 means 28, 28, 65, 15, 28 plus 15 is brain blast. I think 53, so 353,000. I'm just whipping out the calculators, because once again, I'm just hammering a point home about power levels real quick, because once again, I don't think Diane should be all too complicated, and I may be off on Chandler and Cusack's power levels, but 168,000 plus 178,000, not that, 346,000. So yeah, my math was definitely a little bit off on that one, but 346,000. Mel has to surpass that. He has to, in his prime state. It's 142,000 is less than half of that metric. But he somehow grows stronger than the original demon, because Zell scales relative to the original demon, and Zell still finds himself no match for Mel. So somehow that happens. So that's an in-narrative excuse built for power levels, but Diane just doesn't get one. It's why I don't typically reference that power level for her, or the Droll's dance power level or anything like that, just because it kind of just does not make sense based on the feats that Diane goes on to perform when, Droll, admittedly no commandment amp, but once again, we don't know how the commandment amp factors into his power level. Droll gets bullied by transformed Chandler, who would get victimized by the Supreme Deity, or get victimized by the Prime Demon King, or get victimized by all these different characters. And he's apparently over 3 times stronger than Diane. Going by numbers. It's why I don't like the numbers. Let's say. Sorry. That all came from the Droll's dance thing, because it's a multiplier. But unlike the Demon Mark multiplier, which is mostly consistent, there's some weird things with the Demon Mark multiplier too in the series. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about that one day. But Demon Mark, mostly consistent. Hunter's Festival, mostly consistent. Joel's Dance, it feels weird. Let's see. Danmaku with Rush Rock. Yep, attack reflection can redirect magical attacks to the earth. Yeah. See, I wouldn't call that reflection, I would call that redirection. But I guess redirection falls under reflection. Limited BFR, Diane can throw opponents many miles away with her current location through her physical strength. Yeah, and she can also do that with, like, any of her earth pillars. But typically, whenever she, like, uses earth against somebody, it's typically to either pierce them or crush them. She very rarely launches people away on it. Though, presumably, they're referencing the throw Diane does at the end of Season 1 to get the 3 sins of Bon, Mel, and Gother to Leonis. That's what I'm assuming they're referencing, and yeah, that's true. Physical strength, minor power absorption, Gideon in an intermediary that can be... Oh. Gideon as an intermediary... absorbed attacks that will be channeled to the earth. Yep, I still wish she could do more with that. Like, I'm not mad that Gideon doesn't have anything too crazy, but I wish she could, like, infuse the stone with the magic properties that she stole or something like that. I don't know. Gideon's special ability just being Lightning Rod is pretty underwhelming in comparison to a lot of what the other ones have to offer. Like, I'd say Charge and Fire is a better technique than that. I'd say... any of the Spirit Spear. Anything that the Spirit Spear has to offer is a better thing than that. Heck, even Super Concentration is arguably better, because, like, the thing with Gideon is that Diane can't do anything but, like, siphon the magic into it and then destroy her own attacking source, which would be the Earth. So, like, I'm not all too sure about that. Resistance to heat manipulation survives Supreme Deity's lightning. That is true. That's like electricity manipulation, tank Gilthunder's lightning. Oh, okay, so I was about to say, technically it should be heat manipulation plus lightning, but they account for the lightning. Lightning? Oh, Lord. Lightning. Gravity manipulation withstood Marmos's powers. That is also true. She withstood them, she did get crushed by them, but she didn't actually perish, which most would if you put them under 30 times gravity, which I believe is Marmos. But then again, maybe it was 10, because I think he used hypergravity against Mel. Let's see. Attack potency, city level. Yeah, okay, so they're gonna stick with that. Much stronger than Meliodas, even while shrunken. She was comparable to Meliodas and could easily injure Hauser while holding back. Collapse the mountain to stop a large flood. Wait a minute. This might take a minute. Wait. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment in time. Let me take a look in a book, reading Rainbow for a second. Collapsed a mountain. Okay, so that doesn't really give me anything. But, collapsed. Okay, so these are excerpts from the novel. But wait a second. Wait a second. So you mean to tell me she collapses a mountain and that's city level? You see my eyebrow? I can't push it up any higher. I got a massive forehead, but like, what? She's collapsing mountains, but she's city level. Okay, we'll play your game. Like, I wonder how they're gonna justify Mother Catastrophe, because I think the lowest you could put that is about, like, I've seen counts putting that thing in like country level. It's basically a bootleg Shibaku Tensei, pretty much, and that's couched from anywhere from small country level to country level, not even mountain level. Just the force needed to do this. Let me see how they justify Mother Catastrophe. Higher with Gideon defeated Hellbrim while he's empowered by 20 Holy Knights and Hendrickson. That's another multiplier in the series. That's kind of wacky. And Heavy Metal, casually one-shot Hauser while reduced to human size. Exactly. Far higher with friends. Her King Golem effortlessly one-shot Droll's Golem, which is going to one-shot her. Yeah. So wait! They just don't even bring it up? Like, do they just not have a Mother Catastrophe calc? Is that just... That's like one of the biggest... I don't know. See, I was wondering. Because they get mountain level to country... Like, on Mel's page... They do start going buku bonkers with some stuff. They start giving it. They're like country level, large country level, continental, multi-continental. Like, they start going there. But I'm wondering where you're getting that from, because they don't classify it. And I can't say they get it from the lore meta, because the lore meta goes way higher. Like, the lowest, and I mean the lowest you can... I call it the lore meta, star meta, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, the whole, Supreme Deity, Demon King, Fairy... English, Great Fairy Tree, all creating realms. We've seen the Demon Realm. It has a star in it. If you don't like the star just because of how close it is, or you ignore the fact that we literally see the sunrise in the Demon Realm, ignore all that. There are 2 moons. Moon level is bigger than multi-continental. There are 2 of them bad boys clearly in the sky. So, like, you can't be the lore meta, because then you can't be saying characters multi-continental. They'd be moon level. At a bare minimum. And I don't even think the Demon King's listed at moon level on here. But I know that's being updated soon. Moon level is going to be coming soon. So maybe I should have held off on this, but it's too late now. But with it being the case, you aren't even going to mention Mother Catastrophe? Like, that's the early Sealer scaling thing. Where does city level come from then? I don't know where city level comes from then. I have no idea. And they don't have a list to any calc or anything like that. Alright, whatever. On a low end for Diane. Not a low, I'll be generous. Average end. I'd say mountain level. We literally see her make a floating mountain. And then she crashes it down, which I believe is calced at, like, also, like, mountain level to larger mountain level. It's not, like, island level? I think I've seen island level calcs for, like, the bringing down and the force and speed you would have had to bring it down at for it to be hit. I don't know. I'm not really... Not sure I really want to rock with that one. I don't know how you can say she collapsed a mountain, but she's city level. I don't really get the logic on that one. Just since it's a novel, unless there's images from the novel that are pulling up when I click on the links, I have no idea how we're not just sliding mountain level on there. You know what I'm talking about? But let's see. At least city level plus, superior to Matrona. So they're saying both. Okay, post training base Diane. Well, yes, I was gonna say 8,800. Up to small country level with Droll's dance. Moscow compared to power to Droll. Okay, so Droll small country level. All right. Casually knocked out King without using her full power. That's true. Which exceeds 50,000. Higher with heavy metal, far higher with Gideon. Pierced, endure. So wait, if you're gonna give her that, if you're gonna say she's endure level, she's gotta go higher than that. You gotta start putting her like next to the archangels and stuff like that. Like if you're going with base Diane piercing, like there's a couple things that make base Diane kind of wacky in terms of like just overall power. It's the supreme deity stuff. It's the Cath stuff. It is the Chimera Endura. Those are the big three slobber that you slap on the table if you're trying to juice up Diane. It is those, because the Chimera Endura should at bare minimum be comparable. Since it's older, since it's more progressed, since it's much larger, all that, it should be at bare minimum, since we know it's the Endura favor, meaning it's one of the Demon King's favorite commandments that was turned into an Endura, meaning had a bare minimum power level 50,000 to become a Chimera Endura, well, to become an Endura in general, and yada yada yada, and the Demon King summoned it assuming it could stall or distract the sevendeadlysins. That at least has to be an Archangel tier threat. Like, it at least has to do something to Tarmiel, or Sariel, which would at least put it at, like, the lowest, once again, the lowest calc I've seen for Tarmiel's Ocean's, like, country. That's the lowest you can go for Tarmiel's Ocean. So, there's that. And once again, Supreme Deity, Cath, they should easily be in the planetary ranges. Once again, just scaling drastically above Tarmiel, who has calcs up with his Ocean at large planetary, the Supreme Deity being equal to the Supreme Deity, the Supreme Deity being equal to the Supreme Deity. Of course the Supreme Deity is equal to the Supreme Deity. No, the Supreme Deity being equal to the Demon King, who we see has moons in his realm, so he has a sun in his realm. You go with just the lore meta with what we haven't seen, knowing Sunshine works in the Celestial realm, Star there too. Like, there are things that you gotta give Diane, but they don't even mention it. The furthest they go is piercing the Chimera Endura's head. And I can see why if you don't watch Cursed by Light. And then you gotta just, like, ignore the whole creation thing. That's it. So, I mean, I'll take small country level. They used to think diverse captain, like, island level. Not even large island. Like, they thought, I remember when I think I was originally doing it, I think they thought True Magic Mel and Galland were both island level. They were, like, the exact same level of strength. True Magic Meliodas and, like, Magicless Gallant. I think they were both listed at island level at one point. So, like, I'll take what I can get for small country level. But yeah, typically, if you had to ask me, if you were to lay the gauntlet down on the table and be like, Pencil Man, where are you scaling Diane then? Where are you slapping on the table then? I would slap it on the table in regards to Diane, sorry, I'm switching back and forth again. But Diane, beginning of series, mountain level. Pretty solidly. I just say that's the safest estimate. Not only do you have, like, Sacred Treasure amps, right, which should... She had... Okay, I'll put this in layman's terms, or as simply as I can put it. Should be somewhat comparable to Mel, who's able to tear apart Albions who are mountain size / mountain level. Has the feat of Mother Catastrophe, which can be countered from anywhere from mountain level to country level. So I say a pretty safe mid-end for Diane is country level once she gets Gideon. Before, I can understand city level. We don't really see many too crazy feats before Gideon, and Gideon is kind of the basis. Gideon Diane is the basis for like almost every other sin scaling in the beginning of series. Post-training, once again, her base state's pretty unquantifiable until you get towards the end of series stuff, where you see her base state be able to do things like piercing the Chimera Endura with Ground Gladius, and by the time of a post-battle, post-Prime Demon King battle, being able to go head-to-head with Kath in an alternate future, and then being able to damage the Supreme Deity 6 months later. Like, there are definitely things where you can get Diane up to, at bare minimum, like the planetary, well, the lowest end. Once again, if you just go with, there are 2 moons in the Demon Realm, lowest you can go is like moon level. I would personally put it, once again, with her being able to damage the Supreme Deity, damage Kath in the alternate timeline, and go with the Chimera Endura, and going with Tarmula Planetary, or low-end Planetary, for the ocean calc that he does. Then you put Diane, like, planetary ranges, maybe star, if you think, like, oh, well, Supreme Deity, Demon King, for them to make a realm with a star in it, and then they have a planet, well, then it has to be at least a tiny bit of a solar system in there, just a little baby solar system, if you just assume the one planet's there. So then you could technically go, like, star, small star for Diane, but, once again, just being soft. Like, I'm talking about planetary to star, and they're not getting Diane past small country level at her strongest. So, like, clearly we got different perspectives on this. But let's see. Speed, massively hypersonic, comparable to sealed base Meliodas. Yep, lightning timing stuff. I definitely, though, I mean, if you consider Gilthur's attacks light, I know a lot of people have problems with that because they don't show photonic properties. And, that's fine. I understand. Photonic properties seem to be like the basis for, if you're light speed or you have light speed feats, the light has to be photonic. And that's why I think because I see FTL here, Gideon could attack Chimera Endura full power. Oh, so you do have full power Demon King's Elder. So you do have her feats there. So what? But then she doesn't really damage full power Demon King's Elder. She kind of just hits him. Like, we don't ever see her actually really do damage to him. At least if I don't remember. I think he grunts. But like, ow. I guess that did actually kind of hurt a little bit. So I guess I do scale myself. Haha. If you punch yourself and it hurts, are you weak or are you strong? But with that being the case, like, I'm not sure. Like, what would make me just grunt? Like, I don't know. Just if I stub, but then I scream if I stub my little toe against something. But with that being the case, massively hypersonic, if you go with Gilthur having light speed attacks, though, small Diane, who's weaker than full-size Diane, is able to casually dodge those attacks. Like, I think those are calced, her dodges there are calced to, like, either relativistic, or, like, I think the highest you go there based on her dodging feat, if you consider Gilthur's attacks light, since they're stated to be light in the data book, is like 8 to 9 times. And then if you don't like that, you just go with like, oh, well, she should scale above Oslo at least at the beginning of series, and Oslo's able to react. And I think he has a feat like reacting to Mael's light, which is fully autonomous from a goddess, which should be photonic because it's light particles. That's what the goddesses are explicitly said to wield. So like, there's that. But once again, Oslo. I don't pull up the Oslo feat unless I'm memeing. So like, Oslo high end, low end or mid end. Well, actually, low end massively hypersonic. Once again, just gilthunder, and then high end or low end massively hypersonic, mid end relativistic to light speed, high end for beginning of series 8 to 9 times the speed of light, nearly FTL plus. Let's see. Massively hypersonic should be superior to Matrona, activated heavy metal before Albion's attack could reach her. Correct. I mean, once again, you could, once with the Albions and stuff like that, they're able to combat goddesses with light, but yeah, whatever. No, because the thing is that Albion was under control in 4 Nights. I was about to say, well, you do have the Albion in 4 Nights, which is able to combat the Rapto, which fires out light beams, light rays from its eyes, which are confirmed to be light. And like Fittich and stuff like that. But that's kind of iffy because that Albion was under control. But then again, it was under control by Lance, who should have those reaction speed. But then whatever. Activated heavy metal. Sub-relativistic with Droll's dance. All right, should be comparable to Droll. Stomp, Snake, Molascula. Oh. So they start getting the sub-relativistic for the Archangels. I wonder what feat that is. Like, I wonder where they're pulling that from. Is it from what's the feat that gets them? I guess Ludishell. Can you just say they're able to like perceive and someone react to Ludishell? Especially like Droll. Like Droll has a feat of like intercepting. Immediately Ludishell was off guard though, so that's the main like anti-argument for that. But like, if I'm ever trying to gas up Droll and Gloxinia, Droll, Diane did in fact like intercept a bloodlusted Ludishell that was trying to execute Dariarian on speed in the past, like sent on a rock, which did knock Ludishell away in time. So like, you want to go crazy, you can go crazy. But let's see. FTL attack speed with Gideon could attack Chimera, Endura, and full power Demon King's Elders. Alright. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, once again, I'll definitely take it. For the longest time, the verse was in a similar vein to how I mentioned how earlier Battle Wiki used to list True Magic Meliodas and Magicless Gawain at island level, both the exact same. We used to have what? Gilthunder, the beginning of series, Massively Hypersonic Plus, and True Magic Mel, Massively Hypersonic Plus. So the fact that we're getting in the FTL ranges, I'll take it. I wonder what feat they're using. Most likely it's going to be Ludishell, because Ludishell stayed in the data book to have Flash with the speed of light. Which is kind of funny, because, like, a lot of attacks in Sevendeadlysins should be moving at the speed of light, but I mean, I'll take it. I'll take whatever interpretation we can get to get FTL. So, honestly, not too bad. The attack potency is a little bit iffy, but once again, I can understand they don't tend to mention Cursed by Light here. I'm assuming the lore meta doesn't being taken into account, all the stuff like that. So they're probably going off feats. I don't know what feats they're using, though, to get these numbers, but, like, one of these days as I'm doing my review, I'll definitely find them. Lifting strength. I don't care. Let's see. Overpower effortlessly be bond and arm wrestling. Yep. G-class, high with Joel's dance. Class T with Gideon. Alright. Oh, yeah, because of the mountain thing. Striking strength, Sims attack potency, durability, city level or higher, small country level, Joel's dance, high with heavy metal. Yeah, I mean, who does she take attacks from? She takes attacks from Cath and the Supreme Deity. Yeah, that makes sense. Then again, the Supreme Deity is in small country level. But whatever, that's fine for durability. Stamina, superhuman. She repeatedly attacked 3 Great Holy Knight class enemies while trying to protect the local populace from their attacks. It managed to remain conscious despite being impaled through the torso under constant fire by Dreyfus, Gilthunder, and Hellbrim. Correct. Unlike Mel and Bond, there's no, like, crazy stamina feat. Like, Bond has that one stamina feat of fighting with that dragon Purg Mel for 112 years. Just straight. Someone did bring up a good point. Mel, technically, the bouts that Wild, Bond, and Mel had against the Demon King, they were fighting for 60 straight years. But it's not explicitly stated they were fighting for 60 straight years, if you know what I'm saying. They say they've been battling the Demon King for the last 60 years. And we catch them on one of their breaks. So maybe they weren't fighting for 60 years straight, but you have that previous feat with Bond, and Mel should scale to that since he's the other participant in that battle. But Diane doesn't really have any, like, crazy stamina feats, so I understand why that's the main stamina feat. Range, extended melee range due to size, tens of meters, melee range, hundreds of meters with creation. Correct. Standard equipment to take a treasure Gideon, a massive warhammer designed to be wielded by a giant. It is made of a material that is stronger than steel and weighs approximately 2,220 pounds, which is actually, someone told me that was, like, light for how big it is relative to Diane's size, and, like, what it has to be stronger than steel. Someone said it was, like, supposed to weigh, like, upwards of 10,000 pounds. Like, the 2,200 pounds is Nagaba just not knowing how much something like that would weigh, but once again, I don't know. Is able to draw the full capacity of her ability, creation. I still want to know why. Well, I get why, but then again, he's so small. I get why Dubs made it. I'm going to call him Dubs now. I prefer Dabuza as a name, but we'll call him Dubs. But I get why Dubs made it, because Dubs is a giant himself. But, like, did he specifically make it and just, like, throw it away? Like, who was using it before? Because Joel wouldn't be using it. At least he doesn't recognize it as his. And it's too small for him. So I have no idea what giant. Like, Dubs, what was you cooking? Who was that for? I don't get what any of the Sacred Treasures were made for. I can kind of get Merlin's, because Merlin's been around for a while. She may have personally commissioned Alden from Dubs. Lost Vein? I don't know. No clue. No clue why he made that one, considering Mel didn't ask for it. At least I don't think so. Maybe he did, though. Once again, he kind of has the age advantage. Rita? No idea. I feel like maybe, I don't know, Dubs was feeling artistic one day. And Korachus? Also, no idea. Let's see. Intelligence. Diane is an immensely skilled fighter, matching Meliodas blow for blow in hand-to-hand combat and forcing Hellbrim to retreat with a single use of Mother Catastrophe. With Henriksen screaming at the ladder to run from the devastation. He also has a deep link with nature, even by racist standards, allowing him to manipulate massive amounts of earth with ease, fighting on a scale surpassing almost every other character in the series. That's true. Once again, I mentioned at the start of the video, and it's why I'm wondering why they don't have any of her feats or anything calced here. Stay hydrated, folks. But she is the big scale one. Like, if I'm pointing to characters for, like, just, oh, here's how they should scale based on just creation stuff, you point to Tarmiel and you point to Diane. We do not see the Celestial Realm get created. Or the Demon Realm. Or the Fairy Realm. Or even our planet. Like, the planet that Sevendeadlysins takes place on, the Mortal Realm, we don't see that created either. The main things we see created are Mother Catastrophe, Queen Empress, mother creation. Those are the things we see created on panel. So you want big kinetic energy feats? Go to Diane. So I get why they say she's definitely on scale. Intelligence-wise, yeah, I guess her battle IQ should be comparable, considering she's able to go blow for blow with Mel. But you can definitely argue Mel's suppressed in all their encounters, and none of our, like, skill demons have ever been really pushed to go all out on Diane for any particular reason, but at the same time, she should be comparable to them. 750 years, tons of combat experience, it makes sense. Weakness, her heavy metal form can be melted by high enough temperatures. That is true. Chandler shows that off. He whips out, I forget what the attack is called, but he superheats his hand, and he says this is specifically for slaying giants. So, yeah, heavy metal is still metal. You can melt it. And notably, she doesn't seem to... We don't actually see her use heavy metal, I don't think, after that encounter with Chandler. And she wasn't Droll's danced up at that point. So, I'm not sure if she ever did surpass, like, the steel-looking coloration she had. Because Droll had diamond. We never got to see if she ever surpassed her current point. Let's see. Abilities creation. A magic power of the giant clan. Creation gives a deep connection to nature and allows them to manipulate the earth for a variety of purposes. Diane was known for being a prodigy with creation. After undergoing Droll's training, she gained an even deeper level of skill and power with it. Correct. Crazy Rush. A large number of massive earthen fists to attack the target. This is in fact true. These are some W big ol' fisties. They are good attacks. Notably, we never see them used to actually hurt anybody because Droll kind of just weaves through all of them and she never uses it again. Still pretty good attack, though. Once again, Droll is what? I think he's like 50 meters tall. I forget how tall Droll is, but he's massive. Like, he's massive compared to Diane, and Diane is 30 feet tall. So, I think she's up to, like, Droll's kneecap, I think. So, the fact that these tower over Droll is actually a very impressive feat in of itself. So, somebody count that. Let's see. Diamond Shield raises a shield of massive diamond. Wall, decorative face on the ground. Yep, that's also true. Double hammer. Diane spins Gideon behind her and quickly creates two large stone fists. One can on either side of her opponent. These fists slam together with the target between, trapping it. Correct. Fillet and loin performs multiple hand movements and creates two earth golems, saying fillet and loin. We never see these guys again. After the whole Friends debut, we never see them again. But yeah, they're all pretty decent. Though they don't, once again, just due to Diane's poor matchups in the series, they don't really get to do much of anything. Like, Gilthunder digs over them, and then they get destroyed by Droll's puppet. That's it. Let's see. Friends, yep. Diane creates earth golems in the likenesses of Hawk, Elizabeth, Meliodas, Matrona, and King. Because of their emotional connection to the originals, these golems are much more powerful than Fillet and Loin. King's golem is by far the most powerful, followed by Matrona. Correct. We never see these guys again, but they, ironically enough, at the time, they somehow seem to scale above Diane herself. I can't answer that. The reason I say that, they brought it up earlier. The Friends, very specifically the King Golem, is able to one-tap Droll's Golem. And Droll's Golem plus Gloxinia's Golem individually were both kind of ragdolling Diane while she had Gideon. Of course, it was a memoryless Diane. That was a memoryless Diane of like 16 years past. Or maybe I think 26 years? No, it is of like 16 or so years past. Because she's specifically at the brain point where she remembers Meliodas, but nothing else. She had her memories of King wiped at that point. So maybe you can argue she doesn't have like the battle experience with Gideon or something like that, but it is weird that she's just outscaled by her friends, which she proceeds to never use again. Let's see. Ground Gladiator. Diane slams Gideon to the ground, causing a massive blade made of earth to strike the enemy at high speeds. This technique instantly dispelled Gilthunder and Hauser's combined technique. Dragon Castle is so large it could be seen from across the capital Leonis. Yep, honestly one of her best attacks. This is the same thing she uses to pierce the Chimera and Dura. It's very, very good. I don't know, it's kind of simple. Once again, a massive creation feat though, because it even towers over her. Heavy metal. Diane turns her body into metal, increasing her body weight, striking strength, and durability. Correct. Though, I forget if we ever see her or Droll actually box in this state. Or I don't think we've ever seen Matrona use heavy metal. But I'm trying to think. I don't think we've ever actually seen them, like, throw hands when they're metaled up. Which is interesting now that I think about it. I don't think we ever see that. Food for thought. But yeah, I don't think that's a thing that we ever do. So it does technically raise body weight, striking strength, and durability. But it's mainly, like, body weight and durability. Well, actually striking strength, too, because she does hit harder. But she doesn't move, I don't think. Well, I need to remember that. Once again, I haven't reviewed, I probably should have, I haven't reviewed all of Diane's fights in a minute. Because once again, she's just not a character I use for versus battles all too much. I reference her if I'm scaling like beginning of series characters, because I'm like, Mother Catastrophe, mountain level. But I don't necessarily like deep reference her or use her for fights or anything like that. Because the big thing is, Diane is quite powerful as an Earth user. And it's why she's kind of hard to put into versus battles, because she usually, like, what other popular Earth users do you know? Like, I'm telling you, if I do Diane versus Toph, it's a massacre. It's literally a massacre. Like, she gets ground gladius, and Toph is here, and Toph is there. You could put every Earthbender, including Kyoshi. You could pull Toph. You could pull her kids. You could pull Kuvira. You could pull Korra. Pull everybody, and they all get mollywopped. They all get mollywopped by Diane. And I can't think of any other popular Earth users. It's mainly Avatar. Like, I don't know. Earth, despite being popular, is not like the MHA guys. Like, Ragdoll. Like, not Ragdoll. I forget the blonde's name. Pixie Bob? I think Pixie Bob. Like, that's another Earth user, but not only is she not that popular, I don't know. Diane would curb stomp her too. I said Diane. Giant lady name. Regardless. Yeah, it's kind of unfair all around. Mother Catastrophe, Diane strikes the ground with her hammer, gouging out a vast amount of earth. Using her earth manipulation, she raises all the earth to the air and brings it together to form a floating mountain. So a floating mountain, you know it's a mountain. Which she then sends crashing down on top of her opponent. Visel was destroyed due to this technique. Yep, it was in fact a big old rock. Yeah. This feat right here is the biggest origin for like the calc feats for everything. This is the calc and excess point. 7 deadly sins for the beginning of series. Then Tarmiel saved us all. Queen Embrace. Yeah, this is the only thing that may be bigger than Mother Catastrophe in terms of scale. Because look at this guy. This guy right here, despite being tiny on this page, he's chunky. That's Albion. He's a thicky little boy. And Queen Empress consumes him too. So Diane summons a giant wave of earth, much larger than even Albion, that she rides over her enemies, burying them in a vast amount of earth. Realize Diane's up here. She rides on top of the wave. She's 30 feet tall. You cannot see her. Another crazy feat in terms of just raw scale. Rising Meteor, Diane raises Gideon high above her head, erecting an enormous star-shaped pillar below her opponent, which slams them at extremely high speed into the sky. That is correct. Rush Rock, many sharp rocks, yeah. Sand Roll, yep. Just a sand pit, and yeah, that's it. Alright. And the gallery, yeah, no one. Once again, I'm not sure who do you like. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, what Diane versus battle? Diane, what Diane versus battles would y'all want to see? I'm not sure. Like, the one that came to mind was, at least for me, was Diane versus the 9 Titans. But even then, that was a massacre. That was genuinely a massacre when I did that forever ago. So, like, I'm not sure what other battles. I get why she doesn't have many notable victories, losses, or conclusive matches, because she's just not the character you really think of in Seven Deadly Sins for Crossverse. But yeah, overall, pretty solid job. I mean, there's some weird stuff. The weird stuff, I'll say, is in the AP. They did a fantastic job covering her abilities, how they work, and all of her interactions. They brought up Cursed by Light feats, though. So I don't know why they don't, like, if you're bringing up the fact that she tanked, if she tanked the Supreme Deity's lightning, wouldn't that naturally mean she should have durability and maybe attack potency, since she tanked, like, you watch Cursed by Light, you know she tanked the lightning, so she also damages the Supreme Deity, whatever. It's like, she should be higher, she should be, maybe in the multi-continental rank, but regardless, outside the AP, I say the speed is fine. Once again, I can get the interpretations for the speed. I can somewhat get the interpretations for the attack potency too. I'm just wondering what they use. Like, I can guess what they use for the interpretations for attack potency, but I don't really know. The ability coverage is fine. All the data book. Oh yeah, this is really solid stuff. Nice work for this Battle Wiki. I'm gonna call this one worthy. Maybe this will get updated again. Maybe I'll have to do another variation of this. But right now, it's looking quite scrumdiddlyumptious. However, that is what I happen to think. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave Mother Earth. Oh yeah, Mother Earth. In the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a... I'm kidding. I want to thank you so much for watching once again. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3. Whoa. As low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reaction to the very next chapter of 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off.
I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, Demix LND, and Igneal. And I'd like to give a chunky old thank you to our $7 member, Autumn's Morning Lazo. And I'd like to give another chunka dunka thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, Idemokai, and China Doll 09. I'd like to give a tractor thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another giga gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.